Welcome in, Slumpbusters. It's another episode of Fantasy Versus. We're talking about two guys that we're already crazy high on, but we think can really push their limits and be that next breakout star of your 2021 Fantasy League. Scary Terry McLaurin versus Calvin Ridley, Drew Hagenbaugh. What do you got for these guys in your rankings?
I have Calvin Ridley as my number 7, and I have Scary Terry McLaurin at number 10. So guys, a little bit apart, but not too far apart. And I tell you what, just looking at these two can have a breakout year. Now for Terry McLaurin, it's a little sketchy just for the fact that the quarterback situation still isn't there for him. I mean, he has Ryan Fitzpatrick, and in all honesty, Fitzpatrick actually makes wideouts a lot better. The last few teams he's played with, he's made his wideouts top 10 wide receivers. Devontae Parker in Miami being one of the main ones last year. And honestly, this could definitely help boost Terry McLaurin because he's been waiting for a guy like that to make him a top 10 wide receiver. Now, having guys like Kyle Allen throwing to you is not the best ideal situation. Injured Alex Smith, now not another ideal situation. That's not good to have. Now having an average quarterback who can make you somewhat better, I feel like this is good for Terry until he can actually get a realistic quarterback that could actually make him elite. Now for Calvin Ridley, obviously Matt Ryan, been in the league forever. He knows what he's doing. Calvin, he gets his number 1 the ball. But for me, the weird thing is about Calvin Ridley, it's just Kyle Pitts. What's going to happen with him? Is he going to have an advanced role in this offense to where he's going to eat up a lot of those target shares? And I mean, I guess you could say the same with Curtis Samuel going to the Washington football team with Terry McLaurin. Could that eat up a lot of those target shares? You know, two guys who played at Ohio State. So very familiar faces. Two guys that could come in and just eat up those target shares. But it feels like these guys are in very similar situations.
I think one thing that I think separates them and why I think that Terry is going to be a slightly more attractive fantasy option than Calvin Ridley this year is, yes, when Julio was gone, Calvin Ridley was a top 4 wide receiver. In fact, he was a top 4 wide receiver overall for the year anyway, but in particular those weeks when Julio was out. Now insert Kyle Pitts, and Kyle Pitts is an elite talent, one of those once-in-a-generation type people that we don't see come around too often. And I think he fits really well into that Julio mold. But even more so, when you think about the Falcons and when you think about Matt Ryan, he's gotten guys like Austin Hooper involved. He's gotten guys like Tony Gonzalez involved. He likes to use his tight ends. And he will definitely see a big, attractive option like Kyle Pitts and want to get him involved. Whereas you look at what's going on with Fitzpatrick over there in Washington, and even with a guy like Curtis Samuel, Fitzpatrick has shown that he could get 2 wide receivers involved, whether it be Deshaun Jackson, Mike Evans, Brandon Marshall. You know, he always got the second wide receiver going over there. And even Devontae Parker, for as much as the target share as he was taking up, you would still see weeks in which guys like Preston Williams would also get some love with Fitzpatrick in the lineup. Yeah. So I think that with that said, I like Scary Terry a little bit more. And in particular, you talked about this end of the year schedule. Terry McLaurin's got Philadelphia twice and the Cowboys. That is beautiful. That's a cakewalk end of the year playoff matchups. That's what you want to see from Terry McLaurin. Calvin Ridley at San Francisco versus Detroit at Buffalo. Not exactly tantalizing matchups there. I think one of the big differences between these two in particular was the touchdowns difference. Calvin Ridley, 9 total touchdowns last year versus Terry McLaurin with 4. I think if those guys are about equal between their targets, their receptions, how they're going to be utilized in their offense with their respective quarterbacks, I think that Fitzpatrick will elevate Terry McLaurin slightly ahead of Calvin Ridley this year. And I'm willing to bank that he's going to have a better fantasy finish than Ridley.
And I could definitely see that too. Not only is Kyle Pitts coming into this Falcons team, but they also have Hayden Hurst. And so you could also see maybe a couple of 2 tight end sets from the Falcons, and to where maybe in those moments, Calvin really doesn't get the ball. And you did sign Mike Davis this offseason. So they could become maybe a run-first offense, just like Washington's run-first offense with Antonio Gibson. So there's so many people that could eat up away at these two. But like you said, Terry with Fitzpatrick, he's still going to get a lot. He still can be as easy as a top 10 wide receiver, if not with Terry McLaurin's caliber, a top 5 wide receiver. You know, 12 points per game for Terry McLaurin compared to around 15.8 for Calvin Ridley. I think those numbers can almost become almost the same for both players, to where you see him getting that same amount of points per game. And you're starting to see Terry McLaurin starting to catch up to Calvin Ridley a lot.
I think one other thing to throw in here, so mentioning the differences in quarterbacks over the years, obviously Terry McLaurin having Alex Smith, Dwayne Haskins, Kyle Allen, all these guys in total yards per attempt, 8.3, for Terry McLaurin, whereas Calvin Ridley closer to 10 yards per target difference. So almost a full yard and a half difference. I think when you factor in the type of quarterback that Ryan Fitzpatrick is, someone who's not afraid to sling it, I think, and given that the numbers are already so close, whether that be targets, receptions, the slight difference in touchdowns I mentioned, I think that those are all things that favor Terry McLaurin in this pairing that we decided on. So I think the next breakout star between these two guys, it's gonna be Terry McLaurin, not Calvin Ridley. But anyway, Slumpbusters, let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you more Calvin Ridley? Are you more Terry McLaurin? Are you more, I don't know, throw out a name, Drew. Give me a name.
Julian Edelman. I'm just kidding. He's retired.
Julian Edelman.
Yeah.
Comeback season.
Comeback season, Tampa Bay.
Let us know in the comments right below. Leave a like on this video, of course. Helps us in the algorithm, guys. Helps us get on your newsfeed to help you win your league. And check out our partner, cavemancoffeeco.com. Yes, use promo code SLUMP. Don't be a chump at cavemancoffeeco.com on your next purchase of delicious cold brew coffee. Juju Talk Sports, Drew Hagenbaugh. We'll see you next time.